Hello, I'm Robin, and today's topic is ergonomics in sonography. In the field of sonography, injuries affect approximately 80% of our workforce. That's one out of every five sonographers is affected by a career-ending injury. And the average time that a sonographer is working in our profession before they start experiencing pain is about 5 years. And many of us have been out here longer than that. I've actually been in the field about 35 years. But many of us don't even report the pain because we feel that there's nothing that can be done to improve the situation. And these are the actual facts about working and scanning with injury. So let's just start off. Why is there such an interest in ergonomics? Well, as you know, sonographers spend about 1/3 of the workday on their computer in front of an imaging machine. Most of the work-related musculoskeletal disorders are associated with computer tasks and our work conditions. And it would make good business sense to improve the environment for morale and efficiency. So starting off, let's just talk about some of the terminology that's associated with musculoskeletal injuries. These injuries have been termed many different things. We get work-related musculoskeletal disorder. We get just musculoskeletal disorder. We get musculoskeletal injury, repetitive strain injury, cumulative trauma disorder. All of these different terms uh, interchangeably still means the same thing, that there is actually injury associated with being a sonographer, and there's also pain involved. So when we start to look beyond the machine, we need to look at the workspace in a whole, not just the computer or the chair. We need to be sure that we can create a positive work environment that includes working with an adjustable workstation that places the worker into a neutral position. And we also have to understand that we have to utilize good posture. Okay, so let's just start off with posture and neutral position, because that's the first thing we need to look at, and that's the first thing that usually gets looked at. And so we understand that these are the important aspects of our imaging day. So when we talk about neutral position and posture, we have to understand the physical demands of the role and responsibility that we have. Sonographer must have full use of their hands, their wrists, their shoulders, and they face many physical demands such as the following. We're often asked to lift more than 30 pounds. We have to push and pull. We have to stoop and bend. We're constantly standing on our feet, which is about 80% of the time. And we often have to ask and assist patients on and off examining tables. Okay, so let's just look at the seating. We'll start with that first. The main thing that we have to understand is, first of all, if your organization can, to definitely get the ergonomic chairs, the scan chairs. But if not, you should be able to have the following features. At least have an adjustable seat that can adjust the height and tilt. You need an adjustable backrest so the height, angle, and depth can be manipulated. You want adjustable arms so that you can rest your arm when you're scanning. Comfortable lumbar support, and if you can, have a waterfall front edge so that you don't have this pressure underneath the leg right at the bend of the knee. You want it to swivel, and for stability, you would love to have 5 legs on it with casters designed for the floor surface. If you have hard, soft flooring or either carpet, you want to be sure that the casters are designed to meet the flooring. So we have additional comments here on the seating, because often I'll get the question, well, what type of seatings do you suggest? There are different sizes and styles, and there are different companies out here that promote different chairs. But the key thing that you have to realize that fitting the individual worker, not one size fits all. You also want to test the weight load. Not all bodies are created equally. Matter of fact, I'm kind of weight challenged myself. But when you start to look at that, you want to make sure that the chair fits the individual, and you want to be sure that the chair also is fitting to the task at hand. The other key thing that we're looking at is working surfaces. Often we're crammed into these little work areas and we just have those old standard desks from the 50s, which has the straight or the sharp edges, which is hard on the wrist and the forearms, and most of them are not adjustable. And the key thing is if we could look at how we can change our old work habits and work areas to something that's more ergonomically friendly and more modernized, it helps reduce of musculoskeletal injuries. And I know some of you are wondering why lighting is on here. Well, you know, all sonographers do it in the dark. We all work in the dark. And if you did not know, imaging is about 30 to 50% dimmer than just a general office lighting. So the task lighting for space for us to do our paperwork is not so much the same as what our imaging is. So we need to be sure that the lighting is appropriate for the task that we're performing. We also need to be sure that we're using the appropriate window effects, the appropriate blinds, the curtains, the glass, and the treatments, because that all ties into injury. And you would say, well, how does that tie into injury? Well, the next slide will show that. Okay, here are some of the sites of discomfort, the numbers and the percentages that are associated with musculoskeletal injury and repetitive strain injury. One of the things you're going to see here is eye injuries. A lot of people don't understand that even with the field that we're in, 45% of injuries that can be associated with eye is strain injuries. Neck is 74, middle back 33, lower back 58%, your shoulders 76%, your hands and fingers 55%, and look at your wrists 59%. So keeping those in mind, and this was found on the SDMS PDF for Ergonomics. So it's a good read if you ever have some time to review it, but it does discuss the major in repetitive strain injuries in sonography. Now, we've talked about the degree and the percentage of injury. The other thing a lot of people don't look at is the temperature and the air quality. If you notice that most of the time you go into these echo rooms, the machine is heated up the echo room tremendously, is greater than 72 degrees, when everyone suggests that a proper imaging area to avoid any type of injury is 68 to 72 degrees. You want to avoid having the air blowing directly onto your face, and you want to be sure that there's a vent deflecting system if you can't change or move the equipment around in a room. And trust me, plants and chemicals do play a major role in the air quality in our imaging rooms. Hearing. As you realize that also with our hearing, it has a percentage of injury as well. So when we're looking at noise from the equipment, radios and CDs and TVs and things that we have to do that occupy, especially our pediatric patients, even our coworkers and other work areas, all can contribute to injury. So relocate printers, copiers, petition, try to reduce the noise level. And all of this is considered to be an impact and should be considered in all of the ergonomics with positioning, standing location, earshot, things of those nature. Okay, cord management. This is another thing that we need to look at because in ergonomics, when you're trying to maintain your posture, your stance, you have to still be aware of all the hazards that are around you. Like, for example, a trip hazard with a cord could create an electrical nightmare, but you want to be sure that they're secure, they're not around your feet, your walking spaces, your drawers, or anything that's going to be a contributor to any type of injury. A good idea is to color code the cords so that they're easy identifiable and easy to locate so that you're not having to bend, stretch, pull awkward positions to get to the electrical cord. This is a rather old one. I think I'm dating myself on this picture. But definitely make sure that you shut down all of your electrical equipment at the end of the day and everything is in a range of motion feel so that you're not having to stand on one leg, bend over, reach behind the machine, and pull something out. You want to avoid all things that would create an injury. Now, when we talk about our files and we organize our work at our desk, we want to make sure that we have most of our stuff should be waist to chest level, and anything that's a heavy load should be placed more so towards the bottom, and anything that's lighter is up towards the top. When we start to look at our work habits, we want to make sure we organize our equipment to fit our work process. Everything is in close reach or close at hand. We want to make sure we schedule our tasks to be short tasks so that between the long periods of repetitive type motions, we want to make sure that we add in some of the minor tasks like filing and putting things away. So it actually creates a built-in break. And the other thing is actually do your desk exercises. Okay, doing the desk exercises. The first thing is you see eyes can be injured. So you want to blink often, exercise your eyes muscles to avoid eye strains, roll them around, roll your head from side to side, front to back, do shoulder shrugs, arm over the head stretching side to side, arm over the head stretching backwards, stretching legs outward on the floor, ankle rolls, and knee raises while you're sitting. These will help alleviate some of the repetitive strain injuries that we see, as well as it loosens you up so it keeps the muscles warm and you're not actually sitting for any extended period of time. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.